Hello guys, welcome to Super Chat. I'm your host Justin. You're the host Carlos.
How you guys doing today?
And today we got Eddie from Flynn's Gaming, and you're the owner.
Yes, I am. Yeah, I am.
I think the coolest arcade to come to Northern Broward area.
I think we're the only ones. So
yeah. Official. It's not just a game bar you'll see in Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, with old machines that don't work.
Right?
Well, yeah. No, they have their place, but yes, we try to do the 90s, early 2000 vibe mixed with obviously the new stuff, new consoles and stuff.
Well, what made you want to open the arcade?
So the arcade was open in 2019 in December, and long story short, so I was renovating a house. I was renovating a house for sale, and for a buddy of mine, because I own a real estate brokerage and stuff. So Will, my buddy there, him and I were renovating this house, and we just started talking about it. We're like, hey, maybe it's the time. This is like 2018. Maybe it's the time to start, this whole gaming idea. I had done pop-up arcade things before called retrocades, and we would do that at my buddy's tattoo shop and a print shop and all this stuff. And we were starting to get a little crowd, like 100 people, 150 people. And then we'd start talking about it, and then December 2018 is when we started talking about it, and then Will technically owns half of Flynn's also, he's a partner, and he had really extensive knowledge in construction, because that's why he was there helping me with the renovation. He'd been swinging a hammer since he was like 3. So, he had done that, and he kind of brought that forte to it, and so we just started fleshing it out, and from January 2019 to about May of 2019, we met every day at this Panera Bread off of Glades for hours, and just kind of fleshed the idea out. And then in the summer, we found a location. We executed the lease in like June or July. Then we started the build out process. Literally us doing everything. From, if you look on our Instagram, you've probably seen everything from freaking scraping the flooring up to chiseling walls.
I started following it the first 6-9 posts.
Okay, so it was extensive. So every day, bro, just going out there, grinding away, literally sweating like crazy. And then, December we opened, and I saw the success in the retrocade. I thought it would be cool, but like any business, bro, you don't know until you give it a shot and kind of flesh it out. And it has Flynn's has evolved heavily. Because like any business, I'm sure everything anime superstore, it evolves, it grows with the community that you choose to serve.
You get way bigger.
If you do things right? If you want to do things right. Some people don't care, and they say, no, I'm gonna stay this way.
Yeah.
So then I've always had an infatuation with arcade games from a child. Born and raised in Florida, so we lived in an apartment in Bay Harbor in Miami, and we didn't have a washer and dryer. So every Sunday after church, go to the laundromat, washer and dryer, that kind of stuff. And they had, I still remember, Mortal Kombat 1 machine and a Galaga machine. And they had that, and my mom would give me 50 cents or 75 cents or whatever I could scrape together, And you just have to get good, because if you want to play for a while. So I always sucked at MK1. I always sucked at Mortal Kombat, because that's a very technical, weird kind of fighting game. But Galaga I got good at, and I could stick around for a while. And and then I bought arcade machines. And had them in my house, and my wife's never super thrilled at it, but I mean, now at the house I have 7 arcade machines at the house that people don't even know about, because I just have them there.
Are those your precious ones?
No, I'm just machines I'm working on.
Oh,
because I pretty much build and repair 90% of what we do, so.
Oh, you are the arcade cabinet.
Yeah, so I build them. If there's stuff I can't handle, then Manny comes in, and then also Neil comes in, a guy named Neil also. Neil's been in the business for a long time, and he services a lot of the other arcades and barcades and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's more of a technical front. So if you're trying to restore an original board or original monitor, you're dealing with high voltage electricity, you're dealing with things that you could really screw up. I mean, bro, Tekken Tag board, PCB board, it's $500-$600. You don't want to mess that up.
Yeah, you don't want to solder the.
No, F that. I'll mess around with the new stuff, but yeah. So that's where that pivoted, man. And then Galaga led to what now is Flynn's, and I said if I ever opened an arcade, it would be called Flynn's, because Flynn's is from a movie. Do you guys know what movie that's from?
Is it Wayne's World?
No, it's from the 80s. It's probably way before. It's from a movie, and this guy gets stuck in the grid, and there's light cycles, and they're making the ride in Disney. Tron, exactly. So Tron was a movie from the 80s, and also Tron Legacy, the new one, and also Tron Evolution, or whatever the anime was.
The cartoon.
The cartoon was, yeah. So, yeah. And then I said I would name it Flynn's, because Flynn's is the name. Flynn's is the last name of the creator of the grid. Kevin Flynn is his name. So his arcade was called Flynn's.
Okay.
And if you watch the first movie and the second movie, they show the arcade in both of them. And then, yeah. So a lot of people don't even know that.
I almost thought you were talking about Lawnmower Man for a second.
No, that's also a great movie.
Yeah.
But no. You know how many arcades are in, like, 80s movies? Like 80s and 90s movies?
Yeah.
And now Stranger Things is bringing it back with their Dragon's Lair. What? I forget the name of their arcade, like Weber's or Weavers or
Weber,
it's something with
Webster's.
something Webster's or something like that. Yeah.
I remember going when you guys when you first opened and it was just
The one
because
side.
now it's expanded.
Yeah.
So now it's just the one side, or when it was the one side, I just walked in and I was like, oh yeah, they did it right. I was like they did it right. They did it right because my family has always been especially my dad has always been a huge arcade enthusiast, and I grew up learning how to play fighting games on a with a fighting stick.
Yeah.
You know, so I didn't learn how to play with the controller. I learned with the joystick and
The 6 buttons.
6 buttons or 8 buttons.
Yeah,
right,
buttons.
Exactly. So I just grew up totally different, and I went in there and I was like, finally, it's not like some in the game commercial arcade thing.
I used to work there, by the way.
In the game, really? Are you talking about the one in Sawgrass?
Yeah, it used to be GameWorks.
GameWorks,
then it became
yeah.
Game Room and all that. I used to work there. It was bad.
It was bad.
It was bad. I worked at the yogurt station before it became the offices is right now. So
Really?
Yeah.
There's a yogurt station.
There was a yogurt
There was
station.
back there, yeah. Like when
It-
it was
it-
GameWorks and
It was in the front. As soon as you came in, it was on your left hand side.
Okay, so where the offices and the desk are now.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I know, yeah, exactly.
It feels weird, going back in there.
It's very different. That is, in my world, I call it the gotchas. Because they got your money.
Yeah.
they
Swipe,
did.
swipe,
There's-
swipe, swipe, swipe,
Literally a place in Orlando called Gotcha. They have
Gotcha games?
all knockoff claw machine prizes.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
Because in Japan and stuff like that, we call them gotchas,
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to bash any of the business. I'm not that kind of a person.
Yeah.
But no offense to the store in Doral that I'm not going to say the name of.
Oh, yeah.
They have bad reviews online and it's kind of crazy.
Fake stuff.
You know what business
I know
it
which one
is.
you're talking about.
Okay.
I'm not going to say it.
Yeah, we
I'm
can't
not going to
say
say
it.
it.
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm not
right,
going to say it. Because I'm not that kind of person.
It's just an observation you've made.
It's just an observation.
Yes.
It's an opinion.
It's an opinion. Well, no, it's factual.
Factual.
so.
But you were just talking over there with Alan about not wanting to do the anime stuff, but you guys do the Gundam stuff.
Right, yeah.
And so you guys do a lot of Gundam.
Yeah, I see your RX-78 here.
Yeah.
So I got the tattoo. of the RX-78. So when we opened Flynn's, Ben, Uber's Cosplay,
Yeah.
I had ran into him because Tate is a buddy of mine too. So his one of his Gundam are up there. Like, if you ever looked in the store at Tate, it's up
yeah.
there. That's his.
Oh, you know Tate?
Yeah, Tate,
Oh, that's
the owner
cool.
of Tate.
I actually met him in person once.
Yeah, so Tate's a buddy of mine, and so when they moved to New York, I sold their house. It's because of the real estate thing or whatever. And we're like, we should have put owned by Tate's from Tate's Comics, and anyway, something stupid. But so we were at Tate's for one of their sales or whatever, right? And I saw the Gundam, and I asked it, oh, who did? And Ben, and then I got pointed to Ben, and then Ben and I started talking, and then I found out this Gundam thing because I'm like, this is really interesting. I'm more of a hobbyist enthusiast than the Gundam lore, if you will. I still appreciate the lore, but I'm more of the hobbying enthusiast. So Ben turned me on to it, and then Will was into Warhammer, and that's a freaking death trap in itself.
yeah.
That's a pit of doom.
I used to play that game.
Warhammer it's an amazing game, and our crew at Flynn's are crazy about it. But dude, a starting army is like $300-400. So
Especially, and then you gotta if you don't pay for it to get painted. You got to paint it and all the other stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I ran into Gundam, thank God. So I ran into Gundam, and I bought my first couple model kits, and then my wife and I went on vacation, and I'm like, I want to get the RX-78 tattooed, and this is only like a couple days, like a week maybe of me knowing about this stuff. And
I'm
I'm like,
into this recently.
Super recent, like
wow.
within it us opening. So we're in December this year is 3 years. So this is like 3 years ago. So I was really new to it, and then one thing led to another, and then I met Ben, and then I also met the guys who own the guy at Gundam USA, Andy. Gundam USA is in Daytona or Allegoria or whatever that city next to Daytona is.
Oh, Deltona.
I know
Daytona or Gundam USA, and I believe his name's Andy or Andrew. I met him, and then I went to that store on that same vacation. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like crazy, because it's a warehouse. He's a warehouse, then only warehouse, very little small storefront. Now he's expanded. He's like 3 or 4 warehouses.
Have you been to the Tampa Gundam from Japan?
So no, so that was too far because we were like on the East Coast.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I can't go all the way there. But we're going. I leave next week. I leave in October for a week trip. So I plan to visit that. I plan to visit all the nerdy Gundam places.
Go when the owner's there. He is associated with Bandai.
I heard that he was pretty. I've heard rumors. There's also a shop. There's also a shop in Orlando area. It's called like Camera and Hobby. And it's actually like pretty like prevalent of having Gundam, like a heavy Gundam.
Oh, so it's a hobby store with
cameras, like cameras.
Yeah.
It's like weird. So yeah, dude. So that led to that, and then I always wanted to have when I got into the hobby, I was like, this is really meditative. Like when you build it. Super.
I built Gundam.
Okay,
I'm a Gundam fan.
So
I have Gundam socks on.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
So it's very meditative. It's very like tranquil, and like your mind goes to somewhere else. So like we gotta introduce to the people. So straight out of the gate, Thursday nights from 8 p.m. to midnight. Gundam build and paint night. It's free to attend. Bring what you want to work on. Now with the expansion, even now, I mean, we have tons of tables, rooms, and the cool thing is because it allows you to interact with the community.
And the Gundam community is super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Gundam can be intimidating when you don't know what it is, but that's why you start with like an entry grade, which doesn't require any tools or anything.
Yeah.
Or you start with a high grade. Or you do like me, where you say, screw it, and just start with a master grade, and you're like, you know what, I'll figure this out along the way.
Which master grade did you start with?
The ARC 7.
Okay.
The version, I think it's the version 3 of it, because there's a couple versions of it.
In my opinion, that shouldn't have been that hard.
No, it wasn't that.
Yeah,
it wasn't that difficult. Sticker application's probably the most tedious thing, because the decals or the water slide stuff's kind of stupid.
The water slide. I used to offer it here in the store a lot. I only offer it if someone really doesn't want to build their Gundam, but I'll build their Gundam for them.
Oh, really?
And one of someone who we had on, Eddie, one of our other guests that we had on, he's a collector, and he had me build. Which one was it from Wing? It was the red one. And it had the water slides, and I wanted to kill myself doing this. I couldn't do it. I was like, oh my god.
There's a rhyme and a reason to it. Ben's got like a method to it, and also because we've gotten so heavily from just having the kids, like Al and I were talking to, the accessories and the tools and the glues and all the other crap that comes along with it, the paints and all that stuff, which a lot of shops, I understand why shops don't carry it, because it takes up a lot of room, and you also have to know what it is.
Yeah, it would take up too much room.
But because we have that community, and we have the Warhammer people and D&D and all those mini builders,
it fits.
Yeah,
it fits.
It fits really well, and it's able to kind of like integrate very well into it. So that's where it led into. So Ben is to blame. Ben and Will are to blame for my Gundam addiction now, and because I have access to distribution. I see what comes out before anybody else does. And also, since I do what's in the box, those little like pop-up things on our Instagram live and stuff, whenever boxes show up, I don't open them. And I do a what's in the box episode right then and there, and I go through the box. So if you watch me on the what's in the box, you'll see me put things to the left and to the right. And what I'm doing is, if I'm interested in something, I'll put it to the left.
Yeah.
And if I'm not, I'll put it to the right. And then it's a problem.
So pretty much is a yes or no.
Exactly. Like for me, like that's what I'm doing.
You just saw me looking at the Inosuke. And
exactly, bro.
Yeah.
But it sucks because like you run out of room. But the cool thing, I imagine it's the same with the anime figures, and the manga stuff, or the anime stuff. That like because there's a certain run, right? They only make so many.
Yeah.
And because if you keep the box nice and you keep the figure in good shape, or you don't open or whatever, it's only going to go up.
Yeah.
Because the resale value, especially if it's like a popular character, I assume, or a popular persona, it's going to go up in value. And like I've learned that a lot with Gundam too.
Right now, the 2 figures that we have in right above the glass cases, as you see when you walk in the store.
Yeah.
Right now, one of them is worth $1,100.
No, that was Levi.
No,
Levi
no,
was
no,
1,100.
yeah.
Gojo's 1,000.
Yeah.
And Annie's 900.
Yeah.
The statues that are over there.
Yeah. Well, afterwards we'll go.
Yeah.
Look at them.
About $1,100 for a statue.
Well, Levi, we had that one.
We had a. If you're seeing Attack on Titan.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
We had a Levi statue that cost $100,000 of him standing on top of a dead Titan.
Well, Zeke's head.
Zeke's head.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, and it was cool. Super bloody, blood flying everywhere.
Yeah. It's a very delicate figure.
And the person got it for free.
Because
we offer once you spend $5,000, every dollar's a point. There's a 5,000 point coupon that lets you get anything in the store for free. And they spend $800 or $700 the day of just to get the coupon. After they spend $800, $700, they hit the button and they grab the Levi.
No, they well, I'm gonna say the real price for this one. It was $2,000 to $3,000 in one purchase.
Oh,
I was there for that day
because it would have been $2,000 to $3,000, right?
So they bought $2,000 or $3,000 worth of product.
Yeah.
And they got this point system.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you this. You know how Pokemon is going on right now, right? This is before, during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Because we sold it when we were here.
We sold it when we were here in this spot.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah. And look how intimate this space is. Pretty
now we use this for our studio and meet and greets and stuff and all that.
It's pretty crazy, yeah.
It was booster boxes that were worth $500 each.
Oh yeah, and they were just...
They bought 3 of them.
And the 18 plus figures, right?
Booster boxes that were $800 each?
No, $500.
$500 each? What booster boxes were these?
Sun and Moon Burning Shadows, like one of the
it was old ones.
Oh, the old ones. The ones you had in the display case in the front? Okay, I know what you're talking about. Holy crap.
And they bought a whole bunch of other figures that came with it.
Just to get the coupon the day
Just to get the coupon the day.
They were like, we're close.
Got it. They got the figure.
It's kind of smart. Because they came in and they got something basically like they didn't pay for it.
Yeah, and I saw them 2 weeks ago. And they bought a...
They spent more money.
How old is this person? Like, are they pretty
It was
old?
a couple that came in.
A couple?
It was a couple.
They're like my age. I'm like 23.
Holy crap. Like, that's man. Well, God bless them. That's a lot of money to spend. If they got it, man.
Hey, I don't blame them.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's their hobby. Their hobby is their hobby.
Yeah, exactly. No, same thing with Gundam. You look at like Perfect Grades, like the Unleashed one that they came out. When we had those, you're looking at $310 for a model kit. Unleashed.
I got a Zaku 2 Perfect Grade from the Tampa store for like $150.
Yeah, you're gonna hit. You're gonna hit a couple $100 easy. But like you guys said, it's about what you're into. I'm not here to cast judgment on anybody in terms of like, hey, if you want to buy $500 worth of pickles, whatever. That's your that's your thing. As long as your basic necessities are provided for and you're not going into stupid credit card debt and stupid debt for it. Yeah. But hey, listen, if you have the money, bro, screw it. Whatever.
What's crazy about our stores, I've seen people, mobile games are huge.
Yes.
Yeah, especially the anime, like mobile games, and like if it, Genshin Impact, Honkai Impact, the one I'm playing, Punishing Great Raven. There's so many that we also sell the figures of. I'll see people spend their money on the gacha playing the game in the store and then buy the figure.
And you got a lot of people playing Pokemon Go coming in the store. It's like
I
told this to Alan a couple of days ago. We got to put a Pokestop here.
Yeah. You guys don't have a trainer? You guys don't have a trainer that can do it? That's over 40?
No, I'm level 25.
I don't
so
play.
It's like...
All right, I'll put the word out to the Flynn's family because we got one of them to do it, and we're a Pokestop, and it's just funny, bro. I just saw the post the other day, so I'll have them come out and I'll say, listen, make them a Pokestop.
Well, could we do a Pokestop and a
gym?
A gym?
I forget what it requires for the gym. My wife plays Pokemon Go occasionally. I know Pokestop's probably easier to do than a gym.
Yeah, because Pokestops are just slide.
It's like a community pick. You right?
Yeah, and the Pokestops, you get resources and you get crap from it. You know what I'm saying? I've seen people straight up, guys. It will attract people. I saw this one dude. We weren't open because we open at 5:00 during the week, and then the weekend's a little different. This dude was walking across the street, walked through the parking lot straight to our door, and was standing at the door. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm at the Pokestop. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. He's like, they just go for it. So you guys have it. Yeah, it's great for you, you know.
That is great. Have you started watching Gundam?
No.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm not the only one.
Yeah, it's I mean, I've tried to get into the habit of it. I had Hathaway on like a couple of weeks ago when I was cleaning the house up and stuff. It sounded intriguing. I've tried to read the manga like 200 times, the original one. It's I like anime. I like anime that is a little more serious in tone.
Did you watch Origin?
So okay, so yeah, so like I've seen it, you know, like I like anime that's more serious in tone. But you know how anime has those funny spots?
Yeah.
Like out of nowhere?
Mm-hmm.
It just irritates me. Like I'm like, why would you put that? This is like a serious time. Like why would you make a joke out of? You know what I'm saying? Like those weird like spots that they just put the humor in there.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I just don't dig it. It's not my vibe, you know. We're anime. I'm more of like an Afro samurai.
Yeah.
Kind of like dark, bloody.
Like Samurai Jack type of stuff.
Yeah, or like Akira.
Oh, okay.
Like Ghost in the Shell.
Ghost in the Shell.
You know, like a Rurouni Kenshin, you know, Samurai X, the original. I'm talking about like from the really like super original, or like Ninja Scroll, you know, stuff like that. Like,
nice, yeah.
like super serious, focused. That's why Gundam really hasn't been able to. I haven't found one at least. Maybe you guys know of one. I know Iron Blood Orphans is pretty dark, but because like a lot of people die and it's not really dark.
I would say honestly, I forgot what it was, but there was like I think it was like a 4-episode thing, or if it was a movie. But it's about like 4 Zaku pilots, and it shows them like just on Earth, just fighting and stuff, and how they just live in their mobile suits. And it's just super cool. It's like super gritty. It's like it was really cool to see from Gundam. I would say I don't know.
I'll have to ask Ben. I'm sure whenever this releases, people are going to comment like, "Oh, you should watch this and you should watch that." So I'll go back and watch it 100% because like I want the more serious anime.
If you find that one, that Gundam is really good. I still can't remember the name of it. I try to look for it like all the time. I would say F90 or F91. The movie is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean the model the F91 model is pretty dope in its construction
with the light.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say Origin though was solid. I was really good. I think it was like a really good way. I tell people now that if they're gonna get into it to watch Origin first.
Okay, so I'll have to sit down and really rewatch or listen to. Like I'm really. Do they make any? I wonder. Do they make any Gundam like novels?
Origin has
a novel, but not a graphic novel. I'm talking about like a battle royale kind of like where they're telling a story.
I think Origin has
a light novel.
Yeah,
I think Origin has that.
Really?
Yeah.
That I probably would enjoy a lot because I'm much like battle royale. I enjoy a lot. Like some of the mangas that I've read and I read are more along the lines of like very serious or very like other than when I was dating this one girl, when I was like in my like early 20s, she was in the Chobits or Chobits or whatever.
I just spent $320 on a Chobits.
So I read that. Yeah. I've read that whole series because of her.
Yeah.
Very very unusual to go in and buy those books as a grown man, especially during that time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was
We've talked about this on before. It's the newer generation has no idea what it was like to keep anime a secret.
Yeah. Because I had to go, because I went to FIU, so, our FIU library had the books.
Yeah.
But most men didn't buy them. You know what I'm saying? So I was 19, 20 years old, so I was, I'm 37 now, so that was, 17 years ago or whatever. But you're spot on. It was very awkward to purchase it. And there was anime stores around close to FIU, but
it wasn't the same.
Very seedy. You know what I'm saying? It was more of the adult stuff that was there.
A little bit risque.
Yeah, risque.
Oh, like our one shelf over there.
Yeah, like the one shelf that sells really well from what I heard.
Now you see manga in Barnes and Noble.
Oh, it's bigger. It's like the biggest section in Barnes and Nobles. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and that's when I was talking to a mother at PalmCon this past weekend, which is that convention in Palm Beach that we were at, and her son was about 8, and we were talking about how anime and manga were introduced into our culture a lot more. And she was even saying, she didn't know what it was. And I was encouraging him, listen, you should be aware of what anime he's getting into. because sometimes there is stuff in there that you may not want to expose a child to at 8 years old.
Yeah, like I see 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds watching Demon Slayer. I'm like, what are you doing?
Exactly, exactly.
It looks cute, but it's a really fucked up anime.
Exactly, exactly. And hey, if a parent chooses that their child, hey, whatever, it's up to them. But I said, I agree. I mean, I remember, like Ninja Scroll. Ninja Scroll or Afro Samurai or some of the older animes were not rated. You look at them and the gore, the risque stuff's in there, and I'm like, and I understand that. And that's why at Flynn's, like, I really try to do a good job at, like, it's all about the community, family friendly, and, I have rules, like, sometimes a lot of profanity, like, with the fighting game community, like, they curse a lot.
Yeah.
So I have a rule, like, so I'm like, listen, I understand it happens, but, like, hey, there are kids around, and I know they get subjected to it anyways, but, like, why add the exposure to it?
Curse after 10 o'clock.
yeah. And, if people want it, but it's all, like you guys said, back then it was different.
Yeah.
Nearly, like, I graduated in 03, so, like, in 03 to 08 when I was in college, it was just different, guys. I mean, it was very radically different, and being a geek or a nerdy person was very, it wasn't as accepted, so it was very unusual. Conventions, I mean, you guys probably remember. I mean, how old are you guys? In 20s?
I'm 29.
29?
23.
Okay, so you guys are old enough to know that, like, conventions now
are insane.
Like, when I was a teen in the late 90s, conventions were like a freaking, like, Polish American clubs, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it was like this big, it was like it was like the size of the news shop, you know what I'm saying?
It was like big things like Comic-Con. It was basically it.
That's
right?
it.
Yeah.
You had 3 or 4 major ones. Miami, obviously, Mike and all them had SuperCon going, at that level.
E3.
E3 was there, you had not CEO, but you had larger conventions, but now it's so everywhere that it's like...
Yeah, you have every single convention in every single state.
Yeah.
There's day conventions now for a day.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, PalmCon was a day.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you guys feel, since you're in the industry, with the anime and stuff like that, and manga and stuff? Is it just like content overload? Or just so much being thrown at people so quickly?
I want to hear his opinion first.
Yeah.
To tell you the truth, anime takes precedence.
Okay.
For like what today's generation is.
Yeah.
Because right now you have the top animation that's going on right now.
Yeah, My Hero, Demon Slayer,
Yeah, My Hero, Demon Slayer.
Even One Piece. I mean, they've been running forever.
Right now, One Piece is coming out with a new movie, so it's like.
That's right.
You either get new stuff coming out from Japan itself in order to get every single thing that's like on the shelf. So it takes presence for every single convention to get the top stuff.
I don't think it's content overload though.
It's not really content
No,
overload.
because they create so much, you can now choose. Like,
it depends on what
for you probably growing up, it was Star Wars, Star Trek, maybe what else sci-fi was there? Battlestar Galactica.
Well, you had you had Battlestar Galactica, Star Trek, Star Wars. You had
like big name.
You had Firefly.
Big name stuff only though.
Yeah.
Okay, so out of that, like, there wasn't that many, but now today there's probably you even have like Orville with fucking Seth MacFarlane, So and so having now there's like the sci-fi has all of this. The anime has always had like the major ones, and now there's like 10 major. Like, if you're not into Jujutsu Kaisen, you're probably into Demon Slayer. If you're not into Demon Slayer, you're into My Hero. If you're not into My Hero, you're into Chainsaw Man. So like it moves around.
Titanfall or whatever.
Attack on Titan.
Attack on Titan. There you go. Yeah.
And right now you got top shows going on right now, like Spy Family. It's kind of like
what's that skateboarding one?
Skate Infinity.
Yeah, Skate Infinity. I've heard of.
There's a lot of shows going on right now that are like popular. But sometimes you always gotta know when they have a product overload, they're gonna fade away. So you gotta watch out what you're selling in stores.
So you gotta. That's a really good point, bro. Because you have to keep your pulse on what's going on in the community heavily, but you also have to have it because, like I was talking to Alan about distribution delays. Mm-hmm. You have to guesstimate how much to order, how often to order of it, and also when it dies off to get rid of it.
Yeah, so product always fades away.
Man,
Demon Slayer's perfect. You know why? Why? The first season came out, and they created a character for all the Hashiras, like a figure. the Hashira figures will continue to sell until almost the end of time because their arcs haven't even come out yet. Like Rengoku's still selling and his arc has passed, right? And if you look at the dude with the white hair, I forgot his name, but his arc hasn't even come up yet. And so when his arc comes up...
So what do you mean, like, arc, like they die or something like that? Like they get rid of the show? Like,
well, the arc is just, like, pretty much their own chapter.
Like a specific...
Oh, so they have,
yeah.
like, an episode, like a thing, a run specifically for them.
Yeah.
Right. Like the first arc of Demon Slayer is the first arc of Demon Slayer.
Whoa.
And then you have the Mugen Train arc, and then you have the Entertainment District arc. So they call it, like, arcs, and they split up the anime. So One Piece has a bunch of arcs. Gundam has... I guess you could call each show like all the different arcs.
It's pretty much like an arc is like it depends on one person throughout the whole entire anime.
It depends
follows
on like
the story of that
person
individual.
Or,
Yeah,
right,
it's
exactly.
a story on how it began and how it ended.
Have you watched Jujutsu Kaisen?
Yeah, I've seen episodes of it. Yeah.
Me and Alan read it. We've been trying to get him to read it because it's really good. But right now, there was the first arc, there was the Young Gojo flashback arc, then there was the Shibuya arc, and then now we're in the Calling Games arc. So there's. Yeah, so like it's really interesting because, and then depending on the manga for One Piece, people will be reading it and asking for figures from the manga, which we will actually have sometimes before it even gets animated. And then when the anime comes out, which they've already read, then they'll be asking for the anime figures. So sometimes there's like 2 different places where the anime and the manga is that we have to have the figures for at the same time.
Because, like, will the figure with the character look different or do something different in the show than they did in the manga? Or is it like a mirrored image?
Yeah, because the manga, like, unless they're going off a light novel, the manga is always usually ahead of the anime. So, like, Maki has a new design in the manga, so if we sold the Maki figure or acrylic stand from the manga, it would look different from the anime version. Because,
see, and this is why, like I was telling Alan, you don't dick around in this industry unless you know what you are doing. Like, you can't throw money at this. There's a shop. Let me regress. There's something that could be coming up for sale soon, and it's in a specific industry. And I had a conversation with this owner, and I expressed to this owner, I said, or in thought, I was like, if anybody buys this, they need to be familiar with that industry because this could be a huge money pit. Because you could just buy it. Like, I wouldn't know anything. Like, I could buy that. I don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that figure's dead, or everybody hates him now. And then you guys stuck with all this crap that you're stuck with. So you have to be, man, you guys are really fortunate. So basically, you make the decisions for Alan, or like Alan's pretty up on the stuff coming out?
We help him sometimes.
You help guide him in this direction?
Like, I'll send him, like, once in a while, like, you have to get this one figure, like, you have to get it.
Suggestions.
Yeah.
But Alan keeps a pretty good pulse on what sells.
Right, and that's because of just, we pay attention to what sells in Japan.
Right now, there's some figures there's some figures that are hard to get.
Yeah.
It depends on the show.
Right, exactly.
If you watch Darlie and the Franxx.
Right.
02 is a hard commodity. 02 is a hard commodity to find. You cannot find her at all.
And we just got the
bunny figure, and we just got like stuff from the show.
Those will be gone soon.
It depends.
Yeah. I mean, right now,
stuff fades away. You don't know what's gonna sell or not. Like right now, we have a set of Pokemon cards that we haven't been able to sell in the past 2 years. That faded away.
Wow, what set of Pokemon?
It's just like a battle deck.
Battle decks. Those are difficult.
It's like a Keldeo Rayquaza thing. So it's like
booster packs, EDPs. That's it. That's all I do.
So sometimes it does hit us though. Like we'll have a figure there that's been there since the beginning of time. It looks like it just won't sell. And then one day him and I are working, and the person's just like, "Oh, I'm gonna buy this," and we're like, "What?" Like it makes no sense. Like yeah. So it's like when something is totally out of style and fashion. That's why it's more interesting to look at the Japan market. Because, for example, Evangelion always sells.
Evas sell like a mother effort. Like
every time.
Yeah, it does.
But they're hard. They're getting more difficult to get because, well, at least in the model world, they're not released as often.
Right.
Because Bandai, like you guys probably know it, Bandai has like segmented releases, so like they'll only release things for a couple months.
Well, now there's
or every 3 years.
If you look in there, actually, I don't know if we still have the Evangelion model kit.
I think so.
It's not by Bandai.
It's not.
It's not. There's a bunch of those model kits in there aren't by. They're by Good Smile and other companies that are releasing.
Are
Model
they
kits now.
knockoffs? Are they
No.
knockoffs from
No.
it?
No.
We get the authentics.
Oh yeah, that's
For
one thing.
Good Smile, really?
Yeah,
I'll
no,
look
that's-
at it. I've never
and
seen that before.
Kotobukiya or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like one of the top companies in Japan.
Yeah.
all
I'm
these
familiar.
other companies are creating model kits. now.
Artifacts.
Yeah, we get like full what is it, full mechanics or whatever, and then the Kotobukiya kits we get. I mean, Bandai obviously is a front runner on the production level and the quality. The thing is that I've been running into too is like third party kits, like third party aftermarket kits. So there's a whole other underworld of that.
Alan stays away from.
And
all
you have
that.
to be careful
Yeah.
with it because you can get in. Like sometimes distributors find out that you have it and they don't want you selling that stuff, so they'll ban
Yeah.
you from purchasing other stuff. But that's even an interesting world in itself because I've experienced it.
Oh, okay.
And they're like the quality's a little Yankee.
No,
The instruction manual doesn't make sense.
No,
you
we got this from Toto Benina, but we wouldn't sell it in store. We let them sell it because they made it originally. We just sell the actual plushies
So that's like third market. That's like third party.
Well, this was a gift.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But this is there are a couple that makes pins and plushies like this.
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah.
we know not to buy a lot of stuff like this,
Like
or,
fan-made
even
stuff.
at all. Exactly, yeah. We tell people the stuff we make, which is the T-shirts, the mouse pads, the figure stands, and there's a few things that we tell people we made that. So this is just something originally that we did that we didn't find other people doing. And
Yeah, because these plushies and stuff are pretty legit, like the tags even and everything.
yeah. And a lot of people even leave the tag that hangs off that on there when they buy it. Yeah. I took them off of the podcast.
I was gonna say, they're very. I understand entirely, and that's is something that I'm observing in the convention scene too, because I've been involved in quite a few conventions, and I've read through their dossier and all that, the rules and regs and stuff, and it's really interesting that they straight up say no contraband, no third party
and
stuff.
people still.
Oh, dude, it's still
fake.
it's still
Yeah.
I'm not talking about I'm not talking about fan art, fan made stuff
Yeah.
pins, stickers, prints, things like that.
Oh, I buy pins and prints every time we go to a con.
Yeah, I'm just talking about legit
figures and plushies. Yeah.
I love Artist Alley, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Artist Alley. I mean, they're slinging it. They're doing their thing. But then I'm always thinking a lot of these, I don't know. I like you said, you run out really fine line of aftermarket stuff. And whether or not you'll get pinched. And
I tell people now, don't buy figures at cons anymore. And there's gonna be the people that come in, they're like, your figures are too expensive, and they buy the fake version online. They don't know they're buying the fake version. They think it looks great. They come in and some people show me the figure collection. I'm like, that's fake, that's fake, that's fake, that's fake on their phone. And then I just see people at cons spending all this money on fake stuff, and I'm just like,
yeah, I don't even.
yeah.
I can't. The only thing I can relate to is I collect comic books, but on a more of an investor kind of side of things,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I this last thing, I had bought a run of Hellboy that I was missing, and I told myself what you said, I will no longer buy loose comic books. I want graded, CGC graded,
Yeah,
9.8 and up,
stuff.
9.8 and up. I know it sounds kind of snobbish, but my whole strategy is that kind of thing, but for the same reason, because I'm not saying it's I'm not saying it's a fake, but in the comic book world, you have alterations, you have coloration, you have books that have been modified, and the finest little nick will remove the value. And because I'm buying it for an investment side of things, I'd rather have it graded. You know what I'm saying? I want to buy a 9.8 graded book. I know what it is. It's locked and loaded. It's done. So I imagine in the anime figure world, it's quite the same, where it's I spent $200 on this figure.
Yeah.
And I think it's legitimate. And then you get home and you're like, oh, crap.
I want to say I had about 7 fake figures, not knowing I did, before I started working here.
Really?
After I started working here, I got rid of all of them. And I got new real figures after working here.
Really?
I don't
Yeah.
get my figures from here. I don't really get it from anywhere else.
You know what's surprising?
Yeah.
Don't trust Target, Walmart, GameStop, Spencer's, Hot Topic with anime figures.
Really?
Yeah.
It's all aftermarket crap?
It's
you don't
it's
know.
like when in a production line they're like, oh, that nose is crooked, we're gonna throw it away.
Yeah, it's a
and
defect.
instead they sell all the defects to Walmart, try to get Hot Topic.
Whoa, I always wondered why some of, like, once again, I don't purchase. I'm not familiar enough with anime, but like I like the aesthetics of some of the figures. You know,
Yeah.
I like the way it looks, the stance, the motion, whatever. And I have looked at a couple. Like they have a Gundam, not statues, but Gundam toys or whatever. And I've looked at them and I'm like, man, that looks kind of off. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I don't know, Bandai and Sunshine and all these people, they're pretty like hardcore on how it's represented.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want me some. That's actually really weird. That's interesting.
So I could show you when we go back over there. You have to remind me, because I'll
Yeah, yeah.
forget. On the Demon Slayer boxes, it's very easy to tell the Japanese and the English box. So we have, we get the ones first when they first come out in Japan. We get the Japanese boxes, and we sell those off. And then if Alan thinks we need more, we end up getting the English line.
There's usually a sticker up top that actually.
Well, no,
shows
there's
you.
no stickers. That's for toy. But I'm talking about like for normal Bandai stuff. It's all print. You don't want to. If there's a lot of stickers on your box, it's probably fake. Yeah.
No, I meant like the.
For the toy animation, there's a silver sticker and then there's a gold sticker for Japan. That's what he's talking
Oh.
about. Yeah. So for toy, it's gold, silver, American. Bandai, you'll see the specific barcode, or you'll see the Claw Machine Prize logo, which I pointed to you out earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or there.
Right, and
That's
that way you'll know, okay, this is the Japanese version, this is the American version. And so for people who just want the figure and they buy it, and then people who are super collecting, I'm like, hey, look out, for the Japanese version. It has better detail.
Well, that's
Yeah,
why
yeah.
like Ben had brought it up to me, like I discussed with Alan, like our distributors are opening up the lines for anime figures, and Ben had said, he suggested that we purchase some of them, and specifically the heavy hitting ones, and I expressed my thoughts of like, hey, this is like a really niche. You got to know what you're getting here. You know what I'm saying? And it's just fascinating, like you said, that a lot of people think that they're buying stuff that's authentic, and maybe even the purchaser doesn't even like. Let's say me, the store doesn't even know it's not authentic because they're not educated enough.
Alan got a shipment one time from a guy. He was just like, oh, someone opened up a distribution, so Alan wanted to try it. Everything was fake. We got our money back. Alan got his money back. But everything was fake, and we threw it away. We only sold like these little tiny things, and we told people like, "Hey, we got these. These are knockoffs, but they're like $5. People still bought them." But I tell people like, "We'll never sell you a fake figure." Like that's the only time that we were like, do you want this little thing? It looked kind of nice, so we only kept the little small ones, but the big stuff we threw away. Yeah, because it was like a Tokyo figure that's like $200. I kept one of them, the one that looked the nicest, but it was like a $200 figure that's supposed to be $200. We just tossed it because we don't want to sell. We don't want to sell the fake stuff. We don't want someone to go home and and
Call us the next day asking for money back and stuff. And all
or
that.
I also don't want to know like if someone doesn't even know. I just want to be like, I just want everyone to know that they have the real thing, even without knowing they have the real thing. It feels better. It makes you feel better on the inside knowing that. Yeah,
And I express the same thing with Gundam. A lot of people ask us, Gundam does not come sealed. So the boxes don't come sealed
anymore
from our distributors.
So no, same for us.
Yeah,
it stopped being like that. It used to be like the 4 plastic things.
So they stopped that
Yeah.
that, and I expressed that to him, and they like a lot of people ask you like, oh well, our piece is missing. I'm like, no, this is authentic. This is from Japan.
Mm-hmm.
This is authentic Bandai kits. Like if something is missing, you let me know. Because like when the Unleash came out, there was a piece missing from the production line. So one piece or 2 pieces were missing. But what Bandai did was, from what I heard, like they said, okay, if you're missing the piece, let us know and we'll send you the missing piece that you're missing or whatever. So, but like people are like, oh, why aren't they sealed? And I'm like, well, because they're authentic. Like there's nothing missing here. It's from Bandai. This is what it is. Because you're right. People go home and check.
Yeah, they always double check their stuff.
I used to,
Check, bro.
even at Tate's, I used to buy Gundam figures from Tate's. If it didn't have the thing, I'd open it up and look at the manual, go through and check all the
runners.
Everything. I was like, okay, everything's here, cool.
Yeah. No, Tate and them, there is very. I've never run into a shop that has fakes. Like I said, most of us who run in that world,
Yeah, I've never seen a third.
we don't want to do third party stuff because of the mere fact that you run a risk of the distributor finding out and all this other crap.
So how do you guys do first party, second party, third party with the arcade machines, or is everything like built from the ground up?
So with arcade machines, arcade machines are weird because remember, most of the arcade machines now, the more recent stuff is super expensive. Like for instance, you guys familiar with Killer Queen?
Yeah.
Sounds familiar.
So
Yeah.
Killer Queen, indie cabinets, right? They're indie arcade cabinets. They're released by indie distributors, developed by indie developers. So the cost is going to be a lot higher because how much manpower went into building the game on the software side, right? So Killer Queen, the cabinets are $15,000, right? So that's a set. That's two, I think.
Oh, wow.
2 machines. Total of 8 people or 16 people can play, but that's 2 machines, right? I have over 60. So like, you do that at a newer level. I mean, dude, you're talking almost over $500,000, you know, machines. So what we've done is we have acquired machines upon inception that I bought outright from an individual selling a collection. And those are more the retro ones. So like, you know, you're dealing with Simpsons and TMT and Rampage and NBA Jam. And those machines, to give you an idea, you know, those machines, because they're not being made anymore, majority of my machines in my place, you can never buy them again because of the mere fact they're not making them. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, TMT, in the condition that I have it in, you're looking at, you know, between $3,500 probably to $5,000 for that one machine, you know? And then Simpsons probably the same, NBA a little less, Rampage probably a little like 3,000 or whatever. So we bought from a massive collection. Then over the last 3 years, I will buy, when I see machines, you'll see me do stories and stuff, I'll find machines that I want to buy, and I'll buy it from a private individual, because usually that's the only place you're going to get it from.
I saw you guys have one of the Pandora boxes.
Yeah, so I run some of the Pandora stuff. So what this one machine came in, and it had a Pandora in it. Pandora is an emulated basically motherboard that has the games on it, right? So typically with those machines, what I feel the right thing to do is a lot of times when I have the original board, like let's say I have the original board of like X-Men, you know, Children of the Atom, you know, I have the original board for that. Or not a board because it was a blue case. And I will use an emulator to run the game so that the board doesn't have to take a toll and run. Because the board is more valuable than the emulated platform.
Yeah.
But I own the board. So in my mind, I have the rights to run the game because I own the original. I own the actual authentic.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It's like when you buy old school software. You buy it, the disc, and you install the disc. But even though you take out the disc, you still have the software.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good comparison. So some of them run on that. Some of them I've done that too, because the boards are just becoming so pricey. And then some I build up, and I am right now. My pivot is this. So where we sit right now, I sit at just over 60 machines, and because there's so many different games and stuff, and you know, I recently picked up like a Naomi Universal cabinet, which is like what they call candy cabinets from Japan. And then I picked up Initial D Stage 3, and I picked up all these other anime-centric games. I'm finding out, or Japanese-centric games, I'm finding out that to repair them and bring them back to life is a nightmare. Like my Initial D board runs on a Naomi 2 Sega board, which freaking is like $500 for the board. And they only come in the motherboard. That's just the motherboard. The motherboard right now I'm in search for, you can only get it directly from Japan. So like, and you run a risk because you don't even know if it's going to be working when it arrives because the VGA chips on it are so sensitive. But anyways, so I've been acquiring from private collections, but now Will and I just discussed it yesterday about the direction for Flynn's in terms of the game. Let's call it the gameology. And what I'm really focusing on now is like, okay, we got a good solid amount of fighters, we got a good solid amount of retro, we have DDR Extreme. We have the Initial D that's in there now. I'm waiting for the motherboard. We got a bunch of, you know, nice fighting games, decent driving games. So now what I'm going more for is experience games, which what I'm talking about is like Catch the Light, which is a reflex game.
This one.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so good.
Catch the Light.
I love playing that one.
Re-Rave is a rhythm game with your hands. I'm looking for like Stepmania X, which is the latest version of Stepmania that comes out. I'm on their waiting list, and Kevin said we should be getting it in September, the end of this month. But, you know, once again, you're talking about one arcade cabinet that costs $5,000. You know, or you can get the really fancy version, 10 G's for one machine. So now that gives you an insight into my world of the way I look at arcade machines. Because I look at arcade machines like that's an investment, and I want my community to enjoy it. So now I've gone the opposite direction where I'm building my own cabinets, and I'm just doing my own thing. Like my Guitar Hero, That's a PlayStation 2 inside the machine.
Oh, that's cool.
I just built it as an arcade cabinet, put a PS2 inside there,
Oh.
synced it all up, unlocked the whole game.
I was gonna ask you that. Like, did you ever go to the Guitar Hero or Rock Band route?
Yeah,
Your
Guitar
store?
Hero, bro.
Dude.
But you would never, you would, I just built a cabinet. I just had a cabinet laying around. I said, you know what, this is totally legal to do. I'm not violating anything because I'm just simply have the game there and I own it. You know,
What,
so it's interesting.
Is that what you did with the JoJo?
No, JoJo right now, it's funny you mentioned JoJo. So JoJo right now is going to actually be going into its own dedicated cabinet because that's Tekken Tag.
Yeah.
So what happened was the Tekken Tag board died. Tekken Tag board is between $450 to $600.
Oh my god. Yeah.
But I ran into a JoJo board and I'm like, I wonder if they would want to play that. And so what I did was the board's still in there. I just put one board on each side. So you have the Tekken Tag cabinet in there, you have the JoJo board cabinet in there, and then it's running JoJo right now. And then what I'll do is when the Tekken Tag, I'm working on a thing right now to acquire Tekken Tag board. When that happens, I'll build a JoJo cabinet for it. And then I'll build a cabinet for it and then put that board back in there.
Dude, the JoJo game is so good.
It's fun. It's a fun game.
It's
different.
solid. Yeah, it's very, very solid. I like it more than X-Men vs. Capcom for some reason. Like,
You should play. Did you play you played the one that's there. So the Bizarre Adventure one. There's two.
the All-Stars.
Yeah, the All Stars. So
Yeah, I
there's two.
haven't played
There's two.
All-Stars.
There's
Yeah.
two there. They just recently released the JoJo's. That one, the one you're referring to, the All Stars one, the new one that came out on the Switch. You guys have seen that one?
Oh, don't tell
So
me.
JoJo's Fighter just released a new game on the Switch and the PlayStation, all that kind of stuff. And I've been thinking about, and it's a beautiful, aesthetically pleasing fighting game. And I've been thinking about building a cabinet for that one.
Oh, shit.
Because literally, once again, you just get a Switch or a PlayStation, and you make the controller's interface with it.
Did you see the they have JoJo Eyes of Heaven, but that's a video game.
Right.
Did you see the Battle Royale cabinet? That's only an arcade cabinet in Japan, and
You talking about Battle Royale like the show, the manga, the book?
The
Battle
movie?
Royale, the movie Battle Royale?
No, it's a JoJo game.
It's called Battle Royale.
No, but it's a Battle Royale version.
What?
Yeah, and it's only we'll show you. We'll show you.
Yeah, I'm wondering what it looks like.
And you can only play it on the arcade cabinet in Japan.
And it's synced to the servers.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because round one that opened in Pembroke Pines, have you guys been to it?
I've been. It's
So,
pretty cool, yeah.
so round one, all that, because it's a Japanese company. So that's how they can have those cabinets there. So like all the Toto
Oh, no, those aren't there.
and all the the Toto and the Vulex cabinets, the fighting cabinets, and all the rhythm games and stuff. If you talk to the techs, they're all linked to the servers that point to Japan.
Oh.
That's why if you run into arcades that are running new Japanese games, they're not
I
legit.
remember in that former
Oh,
spot where
okay.
round one used to be, there was a place called Zen Garden.
Yeah.
They closed that one down because they didn't sell that much.
Wasn't that in?
It was at Pepper Lakes.
Yeah, Pembroke Lakes, I thought.
I thought they were also up north too.
They were in Wellington, but they closed that one
Zen
down.
Garden?
Yeah, they closed both. Yeah.
So the thing is, like, yeah, with arcade games and video games, there's a lot more technicality to it. That's the vision and direction for Flynn's right now, to acquire more rhythm games, I want more collaborative play games where
Yeah.
people are forced to play together, but also not a fighting game where it's more of like anyone can kind of get involved
So
with
pretty
it.
much like a first player, two player.
No, is it
Yeah,
Gauntlet or is it?
Yeah, like Gauntlet is an adventure game.
What's the other one with like the King Arthur and
That's the round two.
then?
Gauntlet.
Is it Gauntlet? I don't know.
Well, Gauntlet is like a knight's one.
Yeah.
You have Magic Sword, which is a 2-player game.
What's the one with the 4? And it's like,
Gauntlet.
It is Gauntlet. Okay, I don't know why I'm thinking Gauntlet looks different in my head. I don't know.
I was actually playing. I still own the original Atari. So like
2600, the brown one.
I was playing it. It was like, dude,
It's pixelated.
it felt weird.
It's very unusual to play it, but with the arcade games and stuff like that, it's just a world. It's a world that you have to understand, and that's why I do not recommend, like, people think the idea of owning an arcade is cool,
Yeah.
and I'm like, it's a cool world to live in, but like the amount of maintenance, unless you know what you're doing. And I mean, we're just beginning. We've only been doing this for 3 years, and we're just beginning. We're on like the scratching the surface of like what this truly means and what it can become. Because And that's why you have to, like at Flynn's, you have to cater to so many communities. You know, the Gundam, Dungeons and Dragons, Warhammer, Pokemon, TCG world, FGC world, the fighting game world, the arcade enthusiast, the birthday. You know, you gotta.
Yeah.
The Smash players, because it's not even a fighting. It Smash is its own.
Yeah,
thing.
you don't.
It's its own
You don't.
entity.
Yeah.
Now, the esports world is
It's bigger than ever.
bigger than ever right now. What do you think about the esports world right now?
So like the esports. So I mean, look, you have CEO Otaku going down this weekend in Orlando.
Yeah.
Those are the guys who run CEO in Daytona and Orlando. You know them, Alexander and all that group up there, and the United States is so far behind, like the curve when it comes to esports.
Yeah.
Like in South Korea, like they're like treated like celebrities. You know what I'm saying?
StarCraft.
Yeah, people own multiple keyboards, multiple controllers.
I mean, their faces on our side. Their faces are on sides of airplanes.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's one thing that I've noticed. With our community, we're very blessed, very thankful that we own the building we're in. We have, or not own, but we're a brick and mortar there that has our own tournaments. So a lot of the FGC in South Florida, they do pop-ups. You know, like they'll do it at different locations and different there. So they don't really own the space they're in. So they might have volatility because let's say the owner decides to change their mind and says, "Oh no, you can't do it anymore," or they want it for another night.
Yeah.
So that could happen. And with our anime fighters, it's just a different group. You know, anime fighters and everybody else other than Smash players, right? It's just a different animal. Smash is a Smash Ultimate, Smash Melee. It's just a different game. It's just a different world altogether. South Florida is very popular.
Have you been to Versus before they closed?
Oh yeah. I mean, I reached out to Justin and them before when I found out they were shutting down during the COVID thing. You know, I reached out to them and expressed my thoughts, what was happening, and stuff like that.
Sad, yeah.
And now they're a scooter shop. You know, now it's a scooter shop. The scooter shop just scooted over.
Yeah.
So no, they definitely had a plug in the community, and where the fighting game community going now is that with latency and back rolling and whatever they call it, you know, they want to play in real life because it's just a different experience. You know,
it's always different when there's like 3 experiences I think you can have. You can have the annoying troll online that you're playing online with, or you play against someone in Japan and you get utterly murdered, or you're sitting down next to someone and just going at it. And it's just like, yeah. Whatever it is, playing against someone in Japan online is completely different from playing against anyone else in the world. I don't know why, but they're always just so much. Like I have a screen recording on my PS4 of Soul Calibur, and I'm just like, we went like 20 rounds together for like an hour.
To tell you the truth, I was actually playing Fortnite last night. I was playing in the Asian servers.
Okay.
It felt weird. Cause all you see is like people in the background just like chill out, and then you see like the lag in every single server that you see.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, with playing in person, it's important to also play at the level that's going to be required. Like, we do sponsored teams. We have a sponsored Guilty Gear Strive team, and we have a sponsored Smash team for Flynn's. And, you know, we have the 1 millisecond lagless monitors. You know, we have all the DLC. We have everything that you're going to experience at CEO or EVO on a smaller level at Flynn's, because we want to prepare you for what's going to happen, you know. And also as we grow and expand, you know, for our big tournaments, we put the stage up, and we always have a project, you know, we take it to that next level. That's what I recommend. Anyone trying or thinking about getting into it, if you want to come to Flynn's, we run tournaments, you know, 4 or 5 times a week, or find your local venue. You know, if you're not close to us, find your local venue, but play in person. Because, like, I've seen people come to us and say, "Oh, I'm a really good Smash player." I'm like, "You haven't played against."
You haven't played
against these people,
Mr. Riddler.
Yeah,
I got to play against Mr. Riddler in Versus, and after that, after getting whooped, I was like, "Can you just teach me for about every time I come here?" You know, it's just like every Wednesday, I was like, "Dude, just teach me how to play."
You're gonna be a top person to Smash every single time.
Yeah, no, the place top 8 is tough. But the thing is with esports, the one question that I have for a lot of esports teams is, you know, if this is a business profitability, what is your end goal? You know what I'm saying? Because you see a lot of these like teams pop up, And I'm like, you're sponsoring, 20 players. Okay, I'm assuming you're paying for entry into at least the majors or the regionals. That's $80 to $100 a pop times 20. That's $2,000. Plus, you're popping up all the other stuff. I'm like, what's your end goal? Like, sell merch? Like, that's a lot of shirts.
I think it's like
There's a lot of teams out there.
it's selling the brand. So like shirts and stuff, but
Yeah.
more of like owning an esports team that you didn't create is like owning the Patriots, the Giants, the
That's
Steelers. So like, because now it's a sport. Now owning if you own FaZe Clan, you wouldn't have to worry about spending money on your arcade cabinets. You know what I mean?
True.
Like if you own FaZe, you'd be like easy. You
Yeah,
know what I
because
mean?
they take a percentage, because I've seen some of their contracts, and like they pay you a salary, and like if your team wins, like a lot of people think that the players get the money, and I'm like, no, the way it's structured is the team gets the money, and then it gets divvied out accordingly.
Right.
Yeah.
But see, that's what the problem is with local players, is the point of friction is that whole, I want to keep the money, and I want you to pay for everything, and I wanted this, and I want that, and I'm like,
They don't understand.
the friction
Yeah.
doesn't. You're not going to be able to run very long. It's like riding a car with no brakes.
Yeah, right now we have 2 teams here in Florida that are based here. The Florida Mountaineers are a Call of Duty team.
Yeah.
Call of Duty, the COD. And then you have Midfits Gaming, which is based in Miami. So it's like,
Oh shit.
yeah,
And what is all PC?
it's all PC.
Of course.
And well, they do variations, so that you can play PC, PlayStation, Xbox.
People have like clans and things like that. You can join.
Right now,
probably, yeah.
right now, FaZe Clan is the top company right now
In
'Cause they're-
America.
Yeah, because they're publicly traded. They're on
The Nasdaq.
they're in the stock market right now.
See, and that's where you can go, but you have to, and that's why I'm not here to kill anybody's dream. I don't want to crush dreams, but
Yeah.
let's bounce people into reality where it's like,
Yeah.
you might be doing a detriment if you're taking on all these players, and
True.
where's the money coming
No,
from?
I actually wanted to create a fighting team called Sento Kumo, which is Combat Cloud.
Okay.
So it would be because at that time, that was in 2019. That's when I was going to Verse Gaming. I saw a lot of like big independent pros that weren't part of the team. So I also wanted to connect with people across the entire like nation, and we were already doing that with like, I know this person in California, I know this person in New York. Okay, so Combat Cloud, everything's in the cloud. So I wanted it to be like we support like all these players, and the idea was every time they would win at a tournament, like there's a percentage cut that goes to the team, and then we had a few people that were on board and understood the idea. Like they don't get all the money goes to the team first, then everyone gets paid their cut, and then it was like, of course, I wouldn't even be competing. I would just be running the team, so I would get this cut. The other person helped me run this would get this cut.
So pretty much you were the coach.
Owner.
Owner.
Not really, yeah, coach, but
Like a manager.
Manager, yeah, exactly. And I guess people don't have the person in their group that can like just tell them straight up, you don't get all the money, the team gets the money. Because like if you have that's how FaZe got so big. They had that management skill. They had that like, we have to do it like this.
Plus you got investors.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, Cloud9 and all those guys. You got you're dealing with a different entity, but you treat it as such. And with the fighting game community here in South Florida, we have a pretty strong one. I mean, for across the board.
Yeah.
But it's about investing the time and practice.
Do you know Most Critical?
Probably just a name.
He's a YouTuber / Twitch streamer. He's like one of the biggest Twitch streamers in the world. And he started his own esports team, and everyone was like shocked, but he has the money too. He doesn't have to say, "Oh, I get a cut of your prize winning." I just want to get these people who don't have the light, on the team, and it's called, they're like, I think the Moist or something like that. Yeah. You should check out Moist Critical.
Moist Critical.
Yeah,
All right,
Charlie's his name. He's right here in Tampa. He's one of the biggest YouTubers, Twitch streamers.
Really, Moist Critical.
Yeah, he's huge, and you should check out his team. See if anybody from
So
Moist.
pretty much he lives by Tifu. Tifu lives in Florida, so it's like.
Well, you got all those guys in Central Florida. I mean, it's with Twitch streaming though. Like obviously he's pulling his income from somewhere else, but there also has to be some sort of an end game. Like why would someone just create a team to create a team?
I think he said he would sell it.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
IP,
yeah.
intellectual property, and he would sell the team off once it gets good enough. Because if you could cram guys into a room or into a house together and say, listen, all you do is this. Like if you watch the South Korean teams,
I think he put up a 50 grand or 100 grand tournament thing, and he created his own tournament first before he did the teams, and he ran them like you have to do landline.
I was like, pretty much like Keemstar. He does like Fortnite Fridays and Minecraft Mondays.
Oh, dude, it's so big, and it's so crazy that fighting games are a sport now. I never would have thought. That's another thing. I remember even just being a gamer, watching anime, like that was still like the nerd stuff. Like
it's
with
like
comic books, it's like
playing Halo.
You
can do tournaments with it.
Now it's if you don't watch anime, you haven't watched all the Marvel shows, and you're not playing this game, you're a loser. It's like now it's 180 completely. It's crazy.
Yeah, you have to be like Alan was talking about. Also, you have to be conscious of the trends, the ebbs and flows, the waves, if you will, in time, and how to do it with what you guys are doing. Now that I understand a more intricate idea of you guys have authentic. Your thing is authenticity.
Yes.
Authentic. That is your wave. And also staying in tune with what is current and what is coming and being there for the community. And with Flynn's, and that with here, it's called your barrier of entry. And that, to me, your barrier of entry is the community, capital, how are you going to do this, and all that kind of stuff. And with Flynn's, it's the nostalgia. You know what I'm saying? The nostalgia. You can't just go out and buy 100 arcade machines. You could, but you're going to spend $500,000 doing this, and then going into it. So you're right. I mean, it's about even with esports. It's about understanding where the community is, where it's going, and is it mainstream and is it not, and how will you coast into that? And I mean, how long has this shop been here? How many years?
7 years.
7 years? Okay, so 7 years. And that's a long time.
7 years.
That's a very long, and it's still open, and obviously it's profitable or something.
And we only closed for 3 months during COVID.
Yeah. So I mean, that's.
But technically, he was selling from what Al told me was.
He was selling on a website.
From 2010, he would go to cons.
See,
Yeah.
So I mean, he got into the con circuit, and that's what I recommend to people. It's like establish yourself in the community, and then grow into it. Grow into it.
And that's where we're bringing on a lot of small artists like Chota Bonita, Santiago. Oh my God, I'm forgetting his name right now. I'm forgetting his name, but the one who did Tanjiro and Toga. We're tired. It's
Which one did he do?
He did the 2 art pieces up there. You gotta stand up to see. Yeah.
Enrique?
Oh, there.
Yeah,
oh, okay. It's Manny.
Manny
Simone.
Manny Simone. Yeah.
Yeah.
No offense.
Yeah, you gotta support each other. You gotta support each other as best as possible and figure out how you're gonna do it.
I'm gonna tell you this, guys. Always support your local artists.
And shops.
And
shops, yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly, bro. Like I always say in my streams and everything like that, it's like, if we don't support each other, who will?
That's why I always tell the customers who come in the store, always support your local shops. And
even if you don't buy anything, leave a nice review.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leave a nice review, or you could, every single time you buy something from us, you can always brag to your friends you've been to an actual anime store.
Yeah, you guys are probably, other than one other shop that I can think of, you guys are probably closest to the authentic as possible.
I went to Orlando recently, and I want to wrap everything up here.
Yeah, for sure.
Mark, but I went to Orlando recently, and I went to K-popping. And there's nothing wrong with K-popping.
Yeah,
it's just that
too.
I can just tell there's not an immediate attention and love on the community, right? Like they bring everything there. It's great, but I can just tell there's no one talking to me on the floor. Every customer that comes in, I say hello, we say hello, how you welcome. Let us know if you need any help. We walk up, we walk around, we show them things. It's a whole experience when you come to the anime store, and we provide that at every location. It's like when you walk in, you're gonna meet a weeb. That's one of us. We're gonna talk to you about it. We're gonna tell you One Piece is too long. We're gonna tell you all these great things, and that's what's cool about your arcade too, is that you can walk in and there's people there that know what know what's there. Yeah.
Or you might meet somebody who knows something about that, you know, Yeah, and a lot of people, it's so true, man. You guys keep up that good work and keep that moving forward. And I mean, even at Flynn's, I mean, I'm in the big scheme of things, I'm nothing in terms of what I've done, but it's funny because people see you, probably with you guys too. They see you on social media, they see you on this and that, and they get to meet you in real life. They're like, "Oh, you're really here?" I'm like, "Yeah." I go, who do you think cleans the toilets? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's me. I'm the one scrubbing those toilets.
I was gonna say hi to you,
you know?
At the Not-A-Con cosplay con, but I was just like, he's too busy because I saw you going.
Yeah. But I want to encourage, bro, like people to do that, slow me down, and say what's up. And that's honestly, that's been my biggest problem right now is with growth. Like you say, with great responsibility comes, or great power comes great responsibility. And with our growth and stuff, I don't want anybody to ever not say anything or say what's up, even if it seems like I'm doing a lot. Because I want people also to understand that that's really what makes a small business and makes that community driven. Because if you don't connect with people, and I get it, like obviously I'm different. I look different, you know. So it's like I get it, and I'll get spotted in store stuff too. And people will come up, and I'll say, you know, hey, they're like, oh, I almost didn't say anything, and like once again, I'm not anything, I'm not whatever, and I'm like, I'm glad you did. I'm glad you took the time, you had the balls to go out and say, hey, what's up? Because I want to be able to interact and understand things. And just because a lot of people now are not seeing me at the arcade as often, because essentially what's happening is I'm thinking about 3 steps down the road. You know what I'm saying? I'm out there creating the relationships, and like I'm doing the things possible to have a not at a con. You know what I'm saying? Like to make sure the event hitches off goes well. Or I'm scouting new locations, or I'm finding new people I'm bringing in, or I'm, you know, whatever I'm doing. And or like most days, I'm there in the morning and I'm cleaning, I'm fixing. Like after this, I'll go back to Flynn's. I have to put new buttons on one of our fighting cabinets because the buttons got broken somehow.
Right.
Smashed them. But so dude, no, 100%, man. And I'm glad. Thank you for coming out. I hope you had a good time. It was.
It was fun.
It's very different.
I was gonna go there last year for your one of your what was it? Your anniversary thing.
Yeah, the December, the 2-year.
Yeah.
Well, we can go for the 3-year.
The 3-year.
I didn't have the time.
I have some surprises in store for the 3rd-year one, so I mean I won't disclose them just yet, but I have some surprises that maybe people will be pretty stoked at what I have planned, because now we found our niche. And I know we're wrapping up. Now I found our niche with the Not at a Con, because the reason why I did that was because like there was that gap between conventions. And everybody came up to me and was asking me, like in their cosplay community, you know, they came up to me, hey, we really want to have something, a party or something like that. And I'm like, okay, let me think about it. How can we do this? And then Not at a Con came around, and people are confused when they hear the name. And I'm like, no, it's not at a con. It's not a convention. It's just a party. It's just getting together.
Not a con, cosplay con.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like for our Halloween party, you know, our Halloween Spooktacular party, that's going to be very much centric around, once again, hey, if you want some people to hang out with, my theme for that one is like, you guys remember when you were little and you would go to a Halloween party?
Yeah.
And you would just kind of chill with your friends and play stupid games and stuff like that and have a cool experience.
Or a high school.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. That's basically my vibe of this party. Like, I want you to come in, have some fun. You guys are I'll be making an announcement probably this week, and let's just
off the mic.
I was gonna say, there's basically
Listen.
there's gonna be some interesting things.
I found out a lot of stuff from these. We found a lot of stuff people off the mic. They tell us like what games they're working on for indie companies, you know. So it's fine.
Cool, man.
If you guys go for a Halloween party, go for the Stranger Things vibe. It works.
Well, we already have the arcade. We already have the arcade. You know,
already got the first step. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why we have themed birthday parties for Stranger Things. Like people come in specifically for that reason.
Star Wars Day.
We had Star Wars Day. We had the 2 actors from The Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, and Obi-Wan, and those guys I had met through my contacts, and then that was a great day. 501st came out, and then also now I'm acquiring licensing rights to movies. So since we have the expansion side, we do the movie nights too. So like,
Oh, cool.
yeah. So we'll do a movie night probably in conjunction with Halloween, and yeah, we acquired the licensing rights from the film houses to show them. I have approached G Family or Ghibli or whatever. I have approached them, but they only do releases, theatrical releases.
Yeah, no, the main creator of the Studio Ghibli movies, he's like a huge asshole, low-key, no one knows about.
Really?
Yeah. If you look into it, he's like a huge asshole, he's a horrible father. Like all this other stuff, yeah. But he makes the greatest films. It's crazy, yeah.
Or the people he hires, you talking about a creator? He creates the films?
Yeah, he's the one who writes all the stories.
What?
Yeah.
He writes all the stories?
He writes all the stories for the Ghibli Studio movies. And his son made a movie and he was like, it didn't make me cry, it's awful. It was like, yeah. So that's why they haven't reached out to you. That's why they only reached out to like Netflix and Disney. You know what I mean?
Well, no.
Yeah.
I reached out to the distribution house because I reached out to G Family, the distribution company, and I asked for, hey, we'd like to do an anime night, and show an anime or something like that, I don't know, Spirited Away or one of those nice ones. And they're like, yeah, Eddie, whoever the person was emailing me from Japan, real nice, super nice. But he's like, yeah, we only do theatrical releases and releases for libraries and nonprofits.
So that's why they
like
partner with Regal.
And Murakami.
Yeah, and the Fathom Event stuff. That's why they can do that stuff.
No, it's because it was one night I was working by myself. He was gone. Oh, it was, a rep from Regal came in and talked to us.
Yeah.
It was like, dude, he wants us to sell our figures at Regal theaters during the movies. It's like,
yeah,
that was pretty cool. Yeah, because we sell wholesale.
yeah,
dude, you should definitely do that.
Yeah.
No, Alan already knows. He got an email and everything. It was like,
Yeah, definitely. Was it a
No.
woman?
No, it was a guy. He came it was like
Dude, you should definitely do
the
that.
last hour of the store closing.
Definitely.
Oh, let's talk about this.
All right. Yeah. Anyways,
Thank you, Eddie, for coming out again.
cool, man.
Thanks so
Everybody,
much.
please go to Flynn's Gaming.
Yes.
Please check it out if you're in the area. If you're
All
not,
the stuff will be in the,
Yeah.
I assume in the description or whatever you guys are gonna play.
Yeah, and
so.
if you want to send us some before and after the process of the second room, even some photos and stuff, we could throw that up. Some videos, I'll just mute it, put it on the screen.
Oh yeah, or even the what's it called? The social media links, just Flynn's Gaming FL.
Well, no, I mean, I
want
don't know if you watched the whole thing with.
Yeah,
Ben.
yeah.
I want to do it like that, right? Put
Oh.
some photos and videos up on the actual screen.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'll send you some stuff.
Email it to us would be way better.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. This is
Thank
Super Chat. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss a video from us. And make sure you subscribe, please, and share this with everybody. Please.
And also, coming up in next month on October 7th through the 9th, we're going to have a special guest of Keith Silverstein here, who is the voice of Hisoka and Char.
Speedwagon, Char. Yeah.
Char from Gun.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
He's obsessed.
I didn't know it was Charles. That's awesome. So
Yeah.
that's October 7th through the 9th?
Yeah, he'll be available at our West Palm Beach location, Naples, and here in Lauderhill.
And a week before that, we're going to have our artist day with our first 5 artists that we let them pick. We chose, first come, first serve. We're going to give back to the community. They don't have to pay. And then we'll let you guys know when the second event after that. But come check out our events and also check out the events at Flynn's Gaming, too. Take care, guys. Peace out.
Later.
Peace out.